Anime, Dead Mount Death Play. Moving on to episode 11, there were several individuals who filled out questionnaires before Polka began her predictions. One of the customers there was Phantom Solitaire, who was disguised as someone else. Polka was still getting ready to start and also inquired about the progress of the investigation into the symbol. Kuruya had been investigating the symbol overnight, and the results he found were quite complex. He believed that the symbol involved a complicated internal police case. Furthermore, Hozorogi disappeared during a critical time while investigating this matter. Most of Kuruya's statements were confirmed by Hozorogi, although in reality, he wasn't missing but was killed when he was on the verge of revealing the culprit. The hired assassin killed Hozorogi in the building currently inhabited by Polka. It is highly likely that the culprit is within the police force. However, Hozorogi couldn't disclose more details since he himself wasn't certain about the identity of the culprit. It's possible that Polka and her friends will get involved. Unfortunately, they are already involved. Nonetheless, Polka remains worried that this may also cause problems for the real Polka and the Shinoyama family. Xiao overheard Polka's conversation while cooking for Xiao. She realized that there were peculiar pauses whenever they spoke and also heard the sound of a pencil writing. Hozorogi revealed that he had shared some of his information with Iwa. He felt more at ease by handing over the case to someone who was investigating alongside him. Currently, Iwa is having a meeting with the newly formed Special Investigation Team, Phantom Solitaire. Iwa discovered that Phantom Solitaire has a habit of approaching and observing targets that catch their attention. In other words, while their team investigates a target that Phantom Solitaire is interested in, there is a high probability they will encounter him. A few individuals in the team are not pleased with the presence of the Shinjuku police. They are extremely frustrated because previously, the Shinjuku police and inspectors caused chaos within the police force. Meanwhile, at Polka's location, she is currently predicting Phantom Solitaire, who is disguised as Yamanura Shota. Polka is able to accurately guess his past circumstances. However, what she predicts is the true identity of the real Yamanura Shota. Polka is merely using hot reading techniques. Phantom Solitaire believes that all of this is the work of Kuruya. He acknowledges Kuruya's brilliance but is disappointed with Polka. Afterward, Polka asks if he has any questions. Unexpectedly, Phantom Solitaire inquires about the symbol displayed on the airship at that time. Polka replies that it is beyond her capabilities. Phantom Solitaire had already suspected as much. However, Polka mentions that she feels something strange about the symbol. Then, Hozorogi takes the initiative to draw the symbol. Phantom Solitaire is impressed by Polka's trick. His pen strokes are not controlled by strings or magnets. Polka states that the original symbol does not have horizontal lines like the one displayed on the airship. That is the result of her prediction. Phantom Solitaire is surprised that Polka knows the true form of the symbol. However, he is still unsure if Polka is a member of the organization that uses that symbol because such information should not be easily revealed. Phantom Solitaire feels like he is being tested. Hozorogi reminds them not to discuss it further. Polka agrees but also has a principle. She cannot ignore it if the symbol is drawn incorrectly. Phantom Solitaire intends to leave, but Polka mentions that she has one more suggestion for him. Polka mentions a girl with braided hair sitting in a wheelchair. Polka states that the girl is worried about the path Phantom Solitaire is taking. Internally, Phantom Solitaire is half shocked because it has nothing to do with Yamanura Shota but with himself, Surimura Tenna. Phantom Solitaire retracts his previous statement about Polka. Nevertheless, he wonders how Polka could know about that girl. After all the prediction sessions were finished, rain started to fall. Phantom Solitaire felt a bit troubled as his makeup could run if it got wet. He was slightly surprised to see one of the girls wearing a raincoat, the same girl who had just been predicted by Polka. Polka found it coincidental that there were two people today asking the same question, specifically about the symbol. It turned out that the girl was wearing a raincoat with the words "Beware of fire," clearly indicating that she was fire-breathing bug. On the other hand, Iwa had finished the meeting with his new team. They had dispatched hundreds of investigators to inspect the streets and gather surveillance footage in order to trace Phantom Solitaire's whereabouts. However, they still didn't know his true objective. What was clear was that Phantom Solitaire's main interest at the moment was the symbol. Yet, only a few people knew the difference between the symbol and its original form, so they couldn't act recklessly. A few individuals who disliked the Shinjuku police came to meet with Iwa. They protested because Iwa was casually drinking coffee while the others were working hard. However, regardless of that, Iwa was currently the leader of this team. He wasn't afraid of them. Iwa said that if they still had the energy to complain, it meant they hadn't been working hard enough. One of them grabbed Iwa by the collar. That person didn't like Iwa because he used to be Hozorogi's bodyguard, and many despised him. Iwa provoked that person, saying that those who hated him were corrupt police officers who could no longer commit offenses due to the internal investigation. The person lost their patience and wanted to hit Iwa. Eris intervened, gripping the person's hand tightly. Iwa said he was fine because if it continued, the person would get hurt. Then, two people came looking for Iwa. They seemingly accidentally bumped into the person who had hit Iwa earlier. The person fell and dislocated their shoulder. They staged it to make it seem like Iwa had dislocated the person's shoulder themselves. One of the two people who came looking for Iwa confirmed the dislocated shoulder. He was Tozawa Danju, a police officer in Shinjuku, just like Iwa. The person who bumped into the other was Yatsu Ranmaru, a police officer in Shinjuku and also a martial arts practitioner. Habaki, the head of the Tokyo Police Department, also arrived to break up the situation. Habaki asked Iwa for an explanation. After it was explained, Habaki reminded them not to provoke each other even if one of them was in the wrong. Habaki was already fed up with the Phantom Solitaire incident, so they didn't need any more trouble. The higher-ups believed that the sniper video targeting Phantom Solitaire was a setup. It seemed there was a traitor within the police force. However, Habaki advised Iwa not to get involved. Even in his current position, Habaki couldn't fully protect Iwa. Iwa bid his farewell and would start his investigation with his fellow Shinjuku police officers. It was already night, and Xiao was trying to gather information about Hozorogi's whereabouts, but to no avail, even with the help of the Lei family's intelligence network. Suddenly, Xiao heard footsteps on the rooftop of a building. It turned out to be Phantom Solitaire up on the roof, realizing that someone was observing him. Xiao threw 3 daggers, but they were deflected by Phantom Solitaire using cards. At that moment, Phantom Solitaire was certain that the attacker was Polka, a member of the organization represented by the symbol. Xiao then revealed herself, and Phantom Solitaire was immediately confused about why a different person came out. Meanwhile, the real Polka was still asleep. Shortly after, the real Polka tried to wake up as there were fiery inscriptions in the room. Polka was dreaming about the kingdom in his original world that used the symbol. The kingdom was on the verge of destruction, with internal and external conflicts worsening the situation. In that dream, Polka's teacher urged him to prepare to break free from the shackles of the kingdom and start living a free life. For necromancers like him, time was limitless, but they had to try their best to value those with limited time. And Polka felt that he had failed to follow his teacher's advice. He had failed to protect the children hiding in the cave, and he couldn't even forgive himself or kill the culprit. He felt ashamed to meet the people of the kingdom. He had become the enemy of the world, the corpse god. He felt that he no longer had the ability to love anything. However, his friend reassured Polka in that dream. The friend was the king of that kingdom. Shortly after, Polka woke up due to the real Polka's presence. Suddenly, he noticed that there were many fiery inscriptions around the room. This world is a buggy program. Are you a termite? Or are you a bird eating the bug? Suddenly, Polka received a phone call from someone. Of course, it was Fire-Breathing Bug, but Polka didn't know it. Fire-Breathing Bug asked if Polka was also a product of Cyberiment. Polka felt angry and surprised, wondering how the person knew that name. On the other hand, Xiao was completely confused by Phantom Solitaire's ramblings. Xiao realized that the man was the fugitive everyone was talking about. Phantom Solitaire himself was a bit puzzled by Xiao's lack of reaction to his words, unsure of how to proceed. Xiao intended to capture Phantom Solitaire and interrogate him. Phantom Solitaire rambled again, saying that the children should go back to sleep at 3 a.m. Hearing this, Xiao became even angrier, stating that she was already 19 years old. Phantom Solitaire admitted that the attacks he carried out couldn't be done by children, but he still believed he could avoid her attacks. Suddenly, long iron claws emerged from Xiao's gauntlet, longer than her own body. This made Phantom Solitaire doubt his ability to evade her attacks. From a distance, Takeru observed the battle between Phantom Solitaire and Xiao through binoculars. Takeru had a hunch that Phantom Solitaire would make a move, but it was slightly different from what he had anticipated. He didn't expect Phantom Solitaire to be fighting against his grandfather's personal bodyguard. Takeru and his subordinates were also preparing to take action. They wanted to seize the opportunity amidst the chaos. And, of course, Lemmings was there as one of Takeru's subordinates. This is the end of episode 11. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss part 12 of this series recap.